All right, we're recording after a very short break, and we're still in the adverse examination of Secretary Carr. So go ahead, Mr. Cross.
Great. Secretary Carr, you know what DART meeting is?
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please? I didn't hear that.
DART,
What is it?
Discipline Action Review Team meeting.
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
Well, that's a group of folks that review the investigation and make recommendations if they find that rule violations have occurred.
Okay. Do you participate in those meetings?
No,
Not at all.
not at all.
All right. And is there another meeting? I believe it's like an IRT process.
Yep, in the investigation review team.
Okay, and that's prior to the investigation happening or something else?
No, that's after.
Okay. Investigation happens, IRT meeting,
DART happens. I don't know in what order, but those two things happen after the investigation, and then it comes to me after that.
okay. And then what happens?
And then when it comes to me, after reviewing the facts of the case, I usually, and it's brought to me by the HR director.
Okay.
Okay.
And who would have that been in this case?
Carrie Byer.
Okay.
And she will bring it to me and we will discuss the case, review the facts, and I will say, what were the recommendations in this case?
Okay.
And then
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but on this escape, the disciplines that especially that were referred to in the press release, was there a series of conversations or did this all take place in one day?
It might have been, my recollection is that we might have done it in a couple of days.
Okay. About how many hours did that take?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
I'm going to object to relevance.
Okay, Mr. Cross, why are we talking about this?
I got it. Did you talk about Warden Novak during this time?
Question asked and answered.
I will allow.
I don't believe so, because we would be looking at individual employees and what they did or didn't do. It's possible her name could have come up, but I don't recall it.
And all of these employees were supervised at the institutional level by Warden Novak, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I mean, ultimately, she had her direct reports, but obviously there were sergeants that didn't report to her, or a maintenance person that should have done something that they didn't do, or the guy that was driving the car and didn't see him on the fence. I mean, those folks didn't report directly to her, but okay, she was in charge of the institution, and under my at least belief, everybody below her ultimately reports to her.
Okay. And based on your knowledge and experience in your review of Department of Corrections documents, are you aware of any warden who has ever been disciplined for an escape other than Warden Novak?
Objection. Warden Novak was not disciplined.
Sustained.
Are you aware of any, let's say, warden who was investigated for a escape other than Warden Novak?
Not while I've been secretary.
Okay, how about at any other time? Are you aware of any warden who's ever been investigated by the Department?
I have no knowledge of what happened before January of 2019. If I was to tell you how I ended up in this position, you wouldn't believe it.
I mean, I guess I'm taking the bait there. How does that answer my question?
It doesn't.
Okay. I mean, that's the appointment position, or what are we talking about?
Yes, I mean, I had planned on retiring. I did not even plan on coming. I didn't apply for this job. I was out of the blue. I was asked by the governor if I would take it. It was a complete surprise to me.
Okay, but how does that affect your knowledge or ability to discover what's happened by your predecessors?
Because I really didn't pay attention to what was going on at the Department of Corrections. I was running the Marshal Service for the Eastern District of Wisconsin and the Sheriff's Office in Milwaukee County. That's what I was doing for the previous 38 and a half, 39 years. I
Sure.
wasn't paying attention to what was going on at the Department of Corrections.
So, but I'm talking about, I appreciate that time frame, but now let's go, since you were the head of the entire Department of Corrections and all 8,000 employees and have access, you have access to any document you want, right?
To a certain extent,
Right, and there's nothing keeping you, and you also get documents related to statistical information from the department, including hiring and racial statistics and other information like that, right?
that's correct. I
Okay,
can get it.
you can and you do get it, right?
If I ask for it, yes.
Okay. And are you, for example, today, are you aware of the racial makeup of all the wardens in the state of Wisconsin?
Objection to relevance. This is a gender discrimination, not racial.
You want to know
Sustained.
about the gender? You tell us about all the genders. You know about all the genders for the wardens in the state of Wisconsin?
Objection as to time frame.
And
How
can
about
you frame
today,
it down,
right
please?
now? Today. Do you know today, right now?
2 days.
Objection, it's relevant what the gender is today. This incident occurred back in April of 2020.
I'm going to allow if he knows. Go ahead. Do you know what it is today?
I don't know these. I mean, are you looking for the exact number of female?
Correct.
Is
Do
that
you know the
question?
exact number? Yes.
No, I
How about
can.
in April of 2020?
No, I mean the exact number. No, I don't know the exact number, but we have quite a few women in leadership positions and as wardens and superintendents.
Okay, how about wardens? How many, other than Warden Novak, how many other female wardens the Department of Corrections have in April of 2020?
I already said I don't know the exact number. There were several.
There was more than one other female warden.
Hmm. I don't know the exact number. Again, I know I'm thinking of her, Lizzie Teagles. Um, I'm wondering, I mean, Sarah had just been promoted from a warden at Techeetah. There were several female superintendents. I don't know if Michelle Hayes had been made already.
Okay, I appreciate
I
that.
mean,
So let's be
no,
more clear. How about
there's several
in
that I
the
could.
Division of Adult Institutions in April of 2020, how many female wardens were there?
Objection, asked and answered.
Again, I said I can't recall. I don't know the exact number.
Okay, now let's talk about maximum security prisons, right? Because we understand that CCI is a maximum security prison, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Is that the one that's called the Walls or something else?
No, that's Waupun.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, then I'm clear. So, but this is there are, because of its classification as a maximum security prison, there are, let's say, more dangerous inmates that are housed there than in other places, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And it's also true that say CCI has a more dangerous population than compared to Techeetah, right?
Techeetah is a
Objection.
maximum security facility as well.
I'm sorry. Could you say what that again, please?
Go ahead, Eric.
I'd like to hear your answer now that you said it, please.
Techeetah is a maximum security facility as well.
Okay. And but that's not in the Division of Adult Institutions, is it?
It is.
Okay. Because there's maximum security facilities for men, several of them, and then there's one women's prison complex that's run over several institutions, right?
Pardon?
The women's prison comprises Tachita and other locations, right?
They're all part of the Division of Adult Institutions. The warden over the women's system, okay, does include Tachita, Robert E. Ellsworth, the Milwaukee Women's Center. I think that's about it. There's
Okay. And
two
I
or three
appreciate
different
that,
institutions.
those gradations, because we're just trying to get down finally to comparisons here. How many females wardens were there over male maximum security prisons in April of 2020?
I don't know the exact number, but I can tell you that it was at least 2.
Okay. And how many maximum security prisons does the state of Wisconsin have for male?
5.
Okay. And are you aware that is there any other female wardens in the history of the state of Wisconsin other than those 2?
Sure.
Okay. And how do you know that?
Because I know for certain that I promoted Sarah Cooper from warden to administrator of DAI.
Sure, but Sarah Cooper was at Tachita, right?
Yeah, well, it's part of DAI.
Yeah, okay. So she wouldn't count as a warden of a maximum security male institution, right?
Well, not a male institution, but she was the warden of a maximum security facility.
Okay. But again, so I guess other than the ones that you promoted, are you aware of any other female wardens other than those 2 in the history of the state of Wisconsin?
In charge of male facilities, is that what you're
Sure,
asking?
male facilities, that's what
Because
we're
you
talking about.
keep leaving that off.
Sorry, Judge. I appreciate that clarification. Thank you.
I'm not certain. I don't know the entire history of the Department of Corrections, and there was plenty of wardens that have come and gone before I became the secretary.
How do you know that?
I only use my common sense to arrive at the conclusion that there have been many people that have come and gone prior to my arrival here. That to me is common sense.
Okay, but you don't know if they're male or female, right?
No, again, I didn't know anybody when I came to the Department of Corrections in 2019. I didn't know any of these folks.
I understand. It's about time to, I guess I can put this in the form of a question. It's sometimes nice when we send people from Milwaukee to Madison. Don't you agree?
I'm sorry, I
Answer
don't
the
know
form
what
of
the
the
question
question.
is.
All right, I'll withdraw it. Thank you very much, sir. I am finished with you for the time, unless they call you back.
Okay, Mr. Carr, do you have any questions for Secretary Carr?
Yes, I do have some questions.
How long do you think it's going to take?
I'm hoping a half an hour, somewhere in that
Okay.
area.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break so that we can all stretch our legs in that. So let me see, what time is it? Okay, come back at 3:30, which is about 10 minutes.
And
And
Judge,
we'll
I can
start.
commit to staying to whatever we got to do to get this witness done for today. That shouldn't be a problem for our end.
Okay, great. And Mr. Mullenbach, you can look into your schedule and let me know, and to Secretary Carr's schedule. All right, and we'll come back now 3:31. Okay, thanks. Mute yourself.